know which camera is live when you are live. If you have more than one camera in your studio, like I actually do here today, it can sometimes be difficult, particularly if you're the talent on screen, to know which camera to look at when. So a solution for that is to actually put a light on the camera or on your cameras above or below them or next to them that tells you when it is the live shot, or when the next camera is about to be live. These are called tally lights, and we actually have an exciting solution to talk about today that is provided by tallylights.com. We're going to be diving in deep on that today, plus we have some cool announcements regarding some new projects that we're launching. So it should be a fun show. It may not go the full hour. We'll probably just stick around, do some questions, and do some nice hands-on learning today with a tally light solution that is now available on Mac and Windows for Wirecast. Stick around. You're watching Wirecast Live. I'll be right back after the opening credits. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you're watching from. We are live, and this is Wirecast Live. I'm your host, Andrew Haley, and each week, Thursdays, 2:30 p.m. California time, Pacific time, we are here on Facebook, YouTube, and frequently our Periscope channels, though we may not be there live today. But you can find us there each week about this time, and we are talking about Wirecast and broadcast media and what you need to know. You can follow us on these social channels. We will notify you when we go live. You can sign up to get notified or go to your live notifications in Facebook or in YouTube, and they will tell you when we go live, each time we go live. We also have an easier way for you to do it. You can actually just go to this nice email address and sign up. If you prefer email, we'll just send you a quick email. The other nice thing about that is we'll tell you what the upcoming topics are, who the guests are, and occasionally we run fun additional content. But we don't spam you. We don't send a ton of emails to that address list, so it's just really about the show and the content surrounding the show, which is often around live video and live video broadcasting. So if you're interested in that, if you're a Wirecast user, if you're just an expert and you've been doing it for years, or you're just beginning to get your feet wet and then you want to find a friendly and helpful show to guide you along the way to starting a business or growing your business through live video, or some of the technical stuff like we're going to cover today, this is a great show for you to put on your calendar each week around this time. And we have a growing community around that, and I see some folks are tuning in here, so I just want to do a quick shout out to some of you guys. I see Niger, welcome, and he's giving us thumbs up in the chat and Facebook. Thank you so much. Monica, welcome. What's up, Monica? David, welcome. If you are watching, do a quick like or a shout out, leave a comment, tell us where you're watching from. One of the things I love about being the Wirecast product marketing manager and evangelist is that this is a worldwide software program. So I'm always surprised where people are using it or where they're tuning in from. That's one of the things I love about live video. If you're watching on YouTube, I see again, I can't really pronounce your name, but Burakerd, hello, what's up? Welcome. You're watching on YouTube. Say something in the chat if you're watching, and leave a comment. And then, of course, you can always share this out to your pages. We're always happy to get new people in the Wirecast Live community. Now, speaking of community, we actually have a Facebook users group called Wirecast Users, and you can join the community there, ask questions. I kind of get on there from week to week and help people out when I can and give them answers to their technical questions. The other thing we love about that Wirecast community, that Wirecast users group on Facebook, is people are posting their Wirecast streams, which is an exciting new program we're going to be launching. We're going to start talking every week. We'll pick a stream of the week to talk about. So maybe it happened this week. Maybe it happened in a month or two ago. We'll just kind of pick fun Wirecast streams that we came to our attention or were really excited about. So starting today, you can either post in the Facebook users group a stream that you did or a picture of a stream that you did and tell us a little bit about it. Or you can tweet at us with the hashtag Where's Wirecast? And this week we are spotlighting or talking about a stream that was done in Kenya by Patrick. Patrick did a wonderful live stream, looks like, using Wirecast from Nakuru TV in Kenya, and we're very, very pleased. So this is one of those examples of where our software is being used. We're very excited about that. Patrick, thanks for posting that picture of your live stream on Facebook. It was great. I hope to see more streams coming from you soon. So again, you can post a picture, send us a link. Just use the hashtag Where's Wirecast and we can find it, and we'll pick a stream each week to talk about, and maybe even start playing some clips from some of those streams. So I encourage you guys to do that. It's going to be a fun new program. Luria, what's up? Welcome. Stuart, hello. Gary, hello. Dave, Sheehan, welcome. Adam Olatella, watching from Port Harcourt, Nigeria. So we have people joining us from Kenya, people joining us from Nigeria, people joining us from Huntington Beach, from Mexico. So welcome all of you guys to the show. Okay, so we talked about Where's Wirecast. You can tweet at us with that hashtag for the Wirecast Stream of the Week. Again, thank you, Patrick. We also have, if you are a fan of Wirecast, it's something you like to use and you want to promote, or you have a blog or a website, we actually have an affiliates program. So you can actually help sell Wirecast, or if people click on an affiliates link, there's a wonderful program you can join at the Telestream, and we can get you signed up. So you can put a link to Wirecast to people that maybe follow you, or maybe your customers or clients, and if they buy through that link, then you get credit and you get some commission off that. So it's a wonderful way to earn a little extra cash if it's something you want to do. So check it out at Telestream Affiliates. That's kind of a long link. The easiest way is just to email affiliates@telestream.net. Again, that's affiliates@telestream.net. And actually, Trevor or Deborah Lee, if we can post that link or email address in the chats, that would probably be really easy for people, and then they can get signed up if that's something they want to do. Okay, so before we dive into the learning lesson for today, we're going to talk about Tally Lights. It should be a fun demo. I'm excited because this is the first time this software is available on Mac and Windows for Wirecast. We have one more announcement, which is next week's show. We're going to be doing a fun experiment. And I think we kind of tried this one time before with Jan Ozer, but this time we're really going to go for it. We're going to actually announce it a week ahead of time. That's why I want to talk about it now. We're going to do a live call-in show. So you will be able to call in with your questions, or if you just want to chat and say hi, we're going to do a rendezvous with Rendezvous. So join us next week on this show right here, same time. We will post a link that you can go to with, and all you need is a camera and a microphone and a computer. You can join from your phones. You can join from your Chrome or Firefox browsers. We're going to be using Rendezvous. So again, all those, it's WebRTC, and you need to have a browser that supports it, like Firefox or Chrome, and you can join in. And we're going to try that. It should be fun. So we'll open it up. We'll open the lines up. The link you'll go to, we'll post that on social media. We'll put it on our show card for next week. But I think what we're going to go with is telestream.net/rendezvous show. Rendezvous show. And that should direct you to the correct rendezvous session chat room. And then you just enter your name. Doesn't mean you'll automatically get in. We can't promise everybody can get on the show. And we've never really tested this in the sense that if a bunch of people are trying to join one session, we'll see. We may run into some issues. We're not sure yet. So we're going to try it. We're going to try a live call-in show, a rendezvous with Rendezvous. Some of you have been asking about more information and details around Rendezvous, and that would be a great way to do it next week, because we don't have a guest. We just wanted to kind of focus on Wirecast these next 2 weeks. Okay, so that's it. Rendezvous with Rendezvous show next week, same time right here on Wirecast Live, and the affiliates program, and then, of course, Where's Wirecast? So those are your 3 news items for the week and what's going on. Oh, there you go. Affiliates@telestream.net. And again, we'll post that in the comments. All right. So I hope to see some of your streams on the stream of the week. And if some of you want to just call in and say hi next week, that would be awesome. And I'm going to type this link into the chat. All right, so without further ado, let's get into our learning session for the week. And again, I see a few more of you have joined us. Edwin, what's up? Nick, how's it going? Rob, how are you doing? I see Chad, greetings from Kingston, Jamaica. Man, you guys are everywhere. Pastor Errol Williams from the United Kingdom, welcome. And again, it looks like Ademola Tala, which I have such a hard time pronouncing people's names, so I apologize if I'm not saying your name correctly, but I'll do my best. Okay, so let me actually add this. All right, guys, if we are going to get into this learning session, we better do it now because there's a lot to talk about. So I want to start by cutting to my desktop and just showing you quickly what is possible here. So the first thing you need to know, and actually by desktop, Deverly, I actually mean my physical desktop. So why don't we cut to the mobile camera here, which I will pull up. All right, so this is Wirecast Go, and it is on the local Wi-Fi network. So I'm using just a DJI Osmo, which I've used for some live streams in the past. Thanks, Greg. And we're going to just look at my desktop here, and we're going to talk about some of the stuff that you see here. So you may notice this little item. This is a Tally Light controller by tallylights.com. And they sent us this to use in our studio. It is basically a simple box that you connect the the lights to. And then on the other end right here is a USB plug. And this is simple, it just goes into the computer. And then on the other end, we just plug it into the box here. So I'm gonna plug it in. If I can do this all with one hand. Hold on, let's try it this way. Okay, we're gonna plug it in. There we go. And I actually already have two lights hooked up. I have one on camera 1, which is actually my main camera right up there. You can see it right on top. That's Tally Light number 1. And the other one I have plugged in is Tally Light number 2 on camera number 2, which is just a desktop cam. I have a Blackmagic camera plugged in right there. So those are my two Tally Lights. Okay, we can cut back to a regular camera here and our desktop. Okay, so you've got the Tally Lights controller from tallylights.com, and you've bought some lights and some cables to hook those up. And if you're curious where to go for that, let me pull that up real fast. We'll go to the website itself. So let me just launch Safari, since I'm using Chrome for some other programs, read your comments and stuff. We're gonna go to www.tallylights-lights.com. So it's just, again, real simple, tally-lights.com. And that will take you here. And now they have a ton of different Tally lights, but basically what we're talking about here is the controller system, which is just a USB controller. And that is this guy right here. Right now it says Windows only, but actually I'm using a Mac right now because they just wrote software for the Mac version of Wirecast. We're really excited to implement this. So that's the Tally Light controller. It comes in a few different ones. One's a 6 camera, an 8 camera. We're using the 4 camera right here. So that's the one we have. And then the other thing we've added are the lights, which are, again, very simple. You can order a standard Tally light with no cable. You can order one with a 50-foot cable. The cables are actually really simple. They are these just sort of headphones cables, like the 1/8-inch, the 1/8-inch stereo cables that just carry a very simple signal across to tell the Tally light, to go on and off. And they're LED Tally lights, so they're low power, and they work. So once you have the Tally light controller and the Tally lights for the number of cameras you have, then you're going to download the Tally light software. Okay, and that's what we're going to launch. Actually, let's launch Wirecast first. We're actually going to add our cameras, and then we'll launch the Tally Light software. So once you have the Tally Light controller plugged in, you launch Wirecast, and you can start with a project. I actually have a demo sort of already built in here, but I'm going to build it from scratch real fast so you can kind of see how it works. So we'll launch just a brand new project here, and I'm going to add, we're just going to keep it super simple here. We're going to add a couple cameras. So we're going to start with our first camera, which is coming in through our XI100 USB Pro device. And there it is. And that's actually a bit big. So I'm going to just scale the fit down. There we go. Okay, so this is our main camera. And we can assign a Tally light to that. There's really no point if you have just one camera to have a tally light. I mean, it can be helpful if you have a desktop versus you want to know when your desktop's live or something like that. But let's just add a second camera. And we're going to add, in this case, let's add our PTZ camera. There we go. So actually, no, this is the Blackmagic. This is the camera on the camera. So this is what I was using for my PTZ demos. Okay, so we'll start with these two cameras. We have camera 1, camera 2. In fact, we can even call those camera 1 and camera 2, or camera A and camera B, it doesn't matter. But a quick way is to rename the shot, because this will be useful if you rename the camera shots in your in Wirecast, then it'll appear that way, or should appear that way, when you open the Tally Lights software. Okay, so we're going to add, it's just camera A, and we'll come down and rename this one camera B. Okay, so we have our two cameras. Now it's time, and we've already, as I mentioned, we've already put tally lights on each one of them. So camera 1, camera 2, or camera A, camera B. We're now going to launch the Tally Light software. We already downloaded it from the Tally Light. The guy Ted over at Tally Light sent us a build. So we're going to launch the Tally Light software. You can see it's right behind me, right here. So I'm going to launch that. And this is what it looks like, a simple, sort of really basic list. And this is what it looks like on Mac. So you're seeing this for the first time on Mac, which is really exciting. They did not have this software written for Windows yet, but they just released it. And now we can offer this and talk about this, because whether you're on Mac or Windows, this is a solution you could use with Wirecast if it's something you're interested in using. Okay, so right now you can see it's just saved as a TLX file. It's basically a text document, and you're now just making a list of things. And you can save this and reload it over and over again. So right now our project, our Tally Lights document, is untitled, and we'll title it at the end. But first, let's start by assigning some cameras to it. Okay, so, and you'll be surprised at how easy this is. All we need to do is we have up to 8 tally lights. Now, of course, we only have 3 or 2 plugged in right now. I actually have a third right here, which I will plug in, and we'll do that one in a sec. So let's grab our first tally light, which we want to assign to camera 1. So we click the Not Assigned button, and now it asks us to select shots. So all we need to do is make sure that we match what camera or thumbnail in Wirecast we want the tally light to go on whenever it's live, whenever that camera or shot is live in Wirecast. Wirecast will tell the tally software or the control box that, hey, whatever you checked is now live. It's time to turn on that tally light. So let's check that out. We're going to try with layer 1, camera A. That's all we need to do at this point. Everything else doesn't matter. We have layers 2, 3, 4, and 5. Those are all clear shots. You don't need those, because unless you want to assign a tally light to a clear shot for some reason, you don't need that. We don't need layer 1 clear, and we don't want camera 2. So those are really our shots. We're just going to select layer 1, camera A. Okay? We can actually, by the way, if you don't want to see the clear shots, you can get rid of those, which is a handy little hide toggle button. So there we go. We're going to select camera A, and there we go. We've assigned it. Let's do the same thing to tally light number 2. Camera B. So now we have our 2 tallies, our 2 tally lights. Tally light number 1 is assigned to camera 1, or camera A. Tally light 2 is assigned to camera B. And it's already working. It's telling us that camera B is in preview. And if the tally light software is working correctly, then camera B should be in preview. And in fact, it is. Let's try switching over. First of all, let's make this always on top so it doesn't disappear. Now let's take camera A into preview. And I'm just going to jump back to Wirecast. And now Tally Light software correctly identified that now it's camera 1 or camera A that is now in preview. Okay? Now, this isn't something I can show you from here, but we'll talk about this with a third camera shot. But when it's in preview, a green light actually goes on the back of the camera on the Tally Light. There's actually the front lights right here, and there are, let's do this, the front lights, and then on the back there is actually a tiny green light. This green light is now on. You can't see it, but it's on. whenever the shot is in preview. It lets the camera operator who's staring at the back of that light or that tally light working from behind the camera, it lets, hey, your camera is about to be live. It's actually in the preview window in Wirecast, which means that the Wirecast operator is thinking about taking your shot live. So that is really helpful. It actually gives the camera operator a quick heads up. You're about to be live. You better be ready. Okay? Now let's actually take this shot live. And we'll just use the transition button. And boom, there it is. It's now, camera B is now live. It's actually in live and preview, but what really matters is that it's in live. And the lights actually came on our tally lights. Let's actually check that out. So we're going to use the mobile camera here, and we can pop in. I can actually show you. So Deborah Lee, if you could cut, there we go. So there it is. The lights are on. And camera 2, and you can see it's actually in live and preview. So we're going to take it off live, and we're going to jump it back into preview. Now the tally light software has correctly identified that that is in preview. Let's just go peek around the back here, see if we can see that light. And there you can see the behind the green light is actually on. Okay, so that is kind of the simple operation. Now, obviously, in Wirecast, one of the cool things about Wirecast is you can have cameras live in multiple shots. So we have camera A, we have camera B. What if we wanted to create a third shot with both of them in it, right? So let's duplicate this shot. And in this one, we're going to make it smaller, scale it down. And like Deborah Lee was doing, where she actually has 2 shots live now. She had like that, the actual my mobile shot and sort of my desktop and everything else live at the same time. We're going to add a second camera here. We're going to add camera 1. And we'll bring that and make it smaller. So there you go. We have both shots in a single shot live now, right? So then if this shot is live, you'll notice there's no corresponding tally lights. Well, that's because we haven't actually identified this copy of camera A and B. So what we need to do is first let's rename it. We're going to rename it 2-shot. Okay? Or you can name it side by side, whatever you want to call it. It's now called 2-shot in my project, so the tally light software should also recognize it like that. So we're going to add that. We just need to say, okay, well, camera A, when that's live or in preview, we need to know that, but we also know that camera A is in, or camera 1 is in the 2-shot. So we're going to check that one as well. So now we've selected the tally light, we've notified the tally light to turn on or off whenever either of these is in the live window. So here we go. And we'll do the same thing with camera B. We're going to add a 2-shot to that one. So there we go. We've now identified both all the shots that would contain this camera. So technically, now that we've identified that, the tally light software should let us know that, hey, you've got both of these cameras in the preview window, which we do. And when we take them live, both should turn red, which they did. So that is it. And actually, I don't know if you can see this on the mobile camera. Let's try it again, but just one more time to confirm. We've got the camera 1 tally light right there. We've got camera 2 tally light is live and red right there. Okay, the last piece that I wanted to show you was I want to add a third tally light just so you can actually see how that works. And we'll pick this one. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to plug this guy in. This is the cable. I've got just a spool of like a 50-foot cable here. And I've got the 2 ends, neither of which is plugged in. So I'm going to plug one into this third tally light that I have. So I'm just going to plug that in right there. And we're going to plug the other end into camera 3. And I don't know if you can see that, but I will actually, you know what, I have an idea. We're going to add this third camera, which is the third camera I have plugged in, which is coming through my Ultra Studio mini recorder. And it's my handy PTZ Optics camera. So there we go. And I'll get the spool out of your way. And if we actually zoom in here, do a zoom, we'll go down. I could actually operate all this in Wirecast, but I haven't hooked up the camera with this project. We're going to zoom in, and there you go. So camera 2, camera 3, they're all plugged in. And what I want to show you actually is this light here. So if I zoom out a little bit, there we go. Hopefully we can focus that. But there we go. Okay, so the light's not on. So you can see that it's not yet assigned to anything. We can actually make this a little bigger. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to assign this guy to camera 3 or camera C if we're following our naming convention. So we'll call this camera C. And we're going to assign that to the third tally light. Camera C. Boom. And now it should turn green, which you haven't been able to see yet, but let's look at that. There's the green light. So when I take it on or off, the light goes on or off, right? And the red lights are not on yet. Now, you might want to ask, what is this other knob right here? So this is our sort of dimmer switch. It kind of, you can turn it, and you can make the light brighter or less bright. That is kind of how I've been using this. So let's actually take this shot live real fast. And now we are in live, and the green preview is actually also on. So green's on because the same shot is in both preview and live. When we take it out of the preview shot, you can't see there, but I guess it's on either way. So then we're going to just mess with this dimmer knob here. Let me pull this up full screen so you can see. This guy just makes it, changes the dimmer, the sort of amount. Looks like you can completely dim the front light. So if you don't want the talent to even see, you just want the backlight to work, you can make the backlight the sole light, and then the front lights can be super dim or brighter or brighter or brighter. So there's some control you have both over which lights turn on. If you don't want the fronts at all, then you just get the back, and that'll turn actually more like a red color, looks like. And then if you go into this, turn on the front and the back becomes more of a greenish color. So pretty cool. That is basically the tally light system. The last thing you might want to do is you would go up and save this. So you save in the tally light software itself. You can actually save, and if I want to save as my tally project, or you might save it as the same as your Wirecast document name, which in my case is just untitled 1, but in any case. So there you go. You can now, if you quit the tally light software and reopen it, you'll notice that a new untitled has opened. Doesn't automatically reopen the last one. So you would just go up and open recent or open one of your saved tally documents. So we can open the tally project, and now the light came on in the background. Okay, the lock tally selection, I am not entirely clear on what that does. I'll need to actually ask Ted or the folks over at Tally Lights what that really does. So stay tuned on that. I'm not entirely sure. I'm assuming that it just means you can't. Yeah, okay. So it looks like what it does is you can't add more shots to any of the tally selections. So if you keep that checked, it's just a way to sort of keep yourself from accidentally clicking and adding more layers or shots or anything. So once you kind of know the way you want it, you can keep that. And then of course you've got this on top option, which will keep this floating above, which you may or may not want. You may want to just drag this off to another monitor or something like that. So if you guys have questions about that, let me check in on our Facebook and YouTube channels and chats, and please type those in if you're curious. Awesome setup, says Nick. Great. What's What's for the affiliates? The affiliates are if the affiliates program. That's just email that if you're curious. You want to be a Wirecast affiliate. That's if you have a blog or a website or a store and you want to, encourage people. If you like Wirecast, and you want other people to use it, or you want to get some extra cash on the side, you can. Post a link on your website, and then if people click on that link and they end up purchasing Wirecast, then you get credit for that purchase and you get some commission off that. So it can be a good way to earn some extra money. It's also a great way for us to spread the Andrew, can I order pizza delivery? That's a great question. You mean through Rendezvous? I'm not sure if that's what you're talking about, or the affiliates. Looks like Derek joined. Welcome. George, welcome. What's the distance that you can run the USB cable? The USB cable doesn't matter too much. You want to keep that relatively close to your computer, and it's got to take some charge because that's what powers the this USB cable is really what powers both the controller, and it's also what powers the LED lights on the software. So you want to make sure you're getting enough charge from your computer through the USB cable in your from your computer. So plug. So I would encourage that you don't skimp on the USB cable. You also don't plug it into a hub that is underpowered or doesn't have enough charge to sort of provide that power. So the USB cable is important. Keep that relatively close to your computer. It's the other cables, which are not USB. These are just a standard stereo audio 1/8" cable, which can run, I think they go up to 200 feet. If you want to take them longer than 200 feet, then Tally Lights, you just contact them, and they have, I think, either signal repeaters or something like that. I'm not sure what they offer, but they just said call them if you want cables that are longer than 200 feet. So their standards are 50, 100, 150, and 200 in terms of cable lengths. So you should have plenty of room. They even have some wireless units if you're more interested in a wireless Tally system. Again, you can get all of that over at the website at tally-lights.com. And again, we're talking about this now because they now have a Mac and Windows software that works with Wirecast beautifully. As you just saw, it's super easy to set up. And now you can have complete control over your whole Tally setup with Wirecast, whether you're a Mac user of Wirecast or whether you're a Windows user of Wirecast. Capiche? Makes sense? Okay, you guys, missed the start. What's the name of this Tally Lights equipment? It is tallylights.com, and let me just pull up that software again. You can go to tally-lights.com, and we can actually enter that in the chat if you're curious. Tally-lights. And the Mac version, if you are looking for a Mac version, again, the USB controller should work just fine, and they will need to get you the software. They have not yet published the software, but it's out, and it's available. I'm using a version of it now, so it pretty much works now. The software they just give you when you purchase the Tally Lights and the Tally controller, and it's really the USB Tally controller that works with the Wirecast software. No worries. Okay, that hopefully, Channel 7 says thanks. Curtis, Adamola. Let's see, if you joined on your phone, do you have to join an iPhone and Wirecast Go? Yes, so iPhone Wirecast Go is how you would join our Rendezvous with Rendezvous show, which we're doing next week. And you can try calling in. Again, it'll be a bit of an experiment. We've not tried to have that many callers. If there's going to be more, I don't know how many people are going to call in. We'll probably ask one or two people ahead of time just to see if they're up for that, and we'll try that. Again, we're going to give it a shot, a Rendezvous with Rendezvous. If we can't get the whole live call-in thing with multiple people or callers, again, I don't think I'll probably interview like 10 people at once. I think we'll just kind of bring people on one at a time. But if people are waiting and their request is like 20 minutes old, we'll be curious. We haven't really tested in that scenario where we've tried to sort of make it a public call-in show. So it should be fun. I think it'll work. I'm fairly confident. We'll do a little testing over the next week, tomorrow, and we'll do some, kind of get it working on Friday, make sure we can get the audio routed correctly from the studio. In fact, most of you will probably be appearing on my desktop inside of my copy of Wirecast on the demo machine, and then we'll just pipe the audio into the studio control room, and Deborah Lee will pull it in, and then we can do it that way. So it'll be a little bit of a fun challenge, and it should be a fun show. But yeah, we'll publish that. Again, I think it's going to be, you should be able, if you do want to come on and try to get on the Rendezvous call-in show, you should go to telestream.net/rendezvous show. Telestream.net/rendezvous show. We don't have anything up there yet. We will put that available. And rendezvous sessions, just so you know, only last usually for, I think, 2 hours if you don't use them. So if you create a rendezvous session but then nothing happens with it, then that rendezvous session expires. So we can't create a rendezvous session now for next week's show. We have to create the session as shortly before the show. But that link should just redirect you when we create the session to the correct session URL. So we'll post the link, but it won't really do anything. If we can, we'll put a little placeholder page kind of telling you all this when we get that page up. But again, we just thought of this sort of a little earlier today and something we want to try for next week's show. All right, that's it for our show today. Guys, thanks again. Don't forget, post your streams in the Facebook users group, Wirecast users, or tweet them at us, or tweet a picture or a screenshot or just a picture from the set like Patrick did with the hashtag Where's Wirecast, and we can feature your streams on the Stream of the Week. And affiliates information, if you're interested in becoming an affiliate, that's there. And next week we're doing Rendezvous with Rendezvous. I think that's it. Tally lights. Times are good, guys. Everything's going well. It's a fun time to be live streaming, and this gives you another tool in your toolkit if you're wanting a way to always know which cameras are on and so forth, which can be very helpful in live multi-camera environments. Couple more things. I just posted, people have been asking about PTZ. I think, Rob, you asked about a PTZ tutorial for our PTZ optics and PTZ controllers, which is out now. So go over to telestream.net/wirecast/resources. So again, telestream.net/wirecast/resources. We just posted these videos. I'll put them on YouTube as well, but I haven't yet. But you can go to telestream.net/wirecast/resources. And in our adding sources section, I've posted 3 new videos. So you can learn how to set up your PTZ camera, PTZ optics camera for the first time. So if you have one of these cameras like we do here in this studio, you can learn how to set them up for the first time. We also have how to connect it to your controller. So that's the second tutorial we posted, which will talk about how to enter the IP address and get it all working correctly inside of Wirecast. And then the final video is how to control a PTZ camera. So this just talks a little bit about the controller interface, what options are available to you, how it works. It talks about also how to link presets to your Wirecast thumbnails, which is what's going on there. So you can now, when you click on a camera in the shot list, Wirecast will automatically move the camera correctly to the next preset position. So a bunch of fun stuff to do if you have one of those cameras. I'm really loving PTZ control in Wirecast. I think it's really fantastic. So if you are interested in getting one of these cameras, you can head over to ptzoptics.com, and they have some great cameras that you can take advantage of now right inside Wirecast and turn one camera into many different camera angles. All right, that's it for today. Thanks to all of you. I want to thank our partners for making this show possible. Thank you so much to these technology partners. And thank you, as always, to you, our audience members, for tuning in and talking shop with us every week here on Wirecast Live. This is a fun show to do, and I really enjoy it, and I enjoy all of you so much. So homework tonight, Rob says he's going to watch those videos. Cool. Missed the start. I think we're good with our YouTube folks. And Derek says, "What's up, Deborah Lee?" And I think that's it, guys. Thanks so much for watching. We will see you next week. And yeah, stay tuned for our Rendezvous with Rendezvous show. Should be fun. And hopefully, knock on wood, it'll all work and we'll have a good time. Either way, we'll learn a lot. And we will, not that I have no faith in Rendezvous, just so you know that. It's just that I've never tested it in this type of environment. I just don't typically do a call-in show, and so I don't test technology. So I thought, well, why don't we try Rendezvous as our call-in show? So I know many of you use Rendezvous all the time. It works great. Terry White actually was just on the show. He loves Rendezvous. Personally, in the studio, we don't use it every week because we have a Skype TX machine and we're just set up for that. But Rendezvous is really a great technology if you are a solo operator. And right now, I'm not a solo operator. I have Deborah Lee in the control studio. So we just haven't needed to use it yet in our workflow because we're just not set up for it. But for you guys, I know many of you use it all the time. But for me, I'm just saying we're going to try it. I've never tested in a multi-call-in camera environment. But if you guys have, if you've done Rendezvous call-in shows, please send us some tips. I'd love to get some advice as we get into next week's show. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and I'm excited. I think Rendezvous is going to work just great. But I'm just a little, you're always nervous when you try something new for the first time and you try to get it set up. So should be fun. Join us next week. I look forward to it. And I will see you guys next time. Thanks so much for tuning in. This has been another show of Wirecast Live. We will see you next week, same time.